so scared right now. I don't know what to make of anything that's going on. I've got Nick with me. He's just a professional all the way through.
Yeah, so we're here, and I can't tell you how many people were preaching the gospel of the Blair Witch Project back in the day. I mean,
I should have stood in the corner back there for an intro. Or something.
Oh yeah, just and then me walk up and be like, "Wah! Ah!" just shaking the camera, and then all of a sudden I like drop the camera, and then you just don't hear anything else. I'd be like, "Nick, are you drunk again?" And I'm just like,
Probably not, because I quit drinking alcohol because it hurts my stomach.
Yeah, it give him a pain in his little stomach, wummy.
It's worse than that.
No, I'm just joking, but yeah, so
fire in the butthole.
Oh.
No, not really, but fire in the intestines.
So I want to emphasize something with this: the Blair Witch Project. This right here, it's basically Burkittsville, Maryland, 1994. Local myth of the Blair Witch. And the original film was made for a budget of like $200,000 to $750,000. The film went on to make $248 million. Jesus Christ. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. I mean, it's just... I'm still floored at how it took them 8 days to film with about 20 hours of footage total shot, and original budget was $35,000 to $60,000, whereas the final film cost was about $200,000 to $750,000. So
I just saw that. I didn't realize that. I thought it was pretty universally well received when it came out, but it said that audience reception was split.
it was.
I don't feel like a weirdo now.
Well, no. Audience reception...
I didn't like it very much.
Audience reception is a bit all over the place. The critics liked it. The critics overall give it an 86, whereas Roger Ebert, formerly one of the most popular critics in the world, gave it a 4 out of 4 stars, calling it an extraordinarily effective horror film. And for a lot of people out there, the found footage style like this, and plus, okay, the found footage version, or the found footage aspect of this film, they did a very good job at making it seem like a documentary gone wrong. And I think that was the point of it. And then, of course...
It started the whole found footage craze, apparently.
In a lot of ways, yes, it did. There were other films that came before that were shown as I think it was Cannibal Holocaust was also presented that way.
It's a more
way back in the day.
Niche film, though.
It is. It is a more niche film, and this broke
out to the mainstream with found footage films, and then Paranormal Activity and Cloverfield happened after.
Yeah, which we're looking at
in my opinion, Paranormal Activity is a way, way better horror film.
Oh, the first one.
Project.
I would say the first 3 Paranormal Activity films are great.
Because, see, I went into both films knowing 100% that they're obviously fake.
But
it's, a suspension of disbelief. It's immersive to an extent, but I found Blair Witch to be pretty boring and not really all that scary.
And that's fair.
And the acting I didn't think was very good either. / the script. One or the other. The script or the acting, with them cussing all the freaking time was just cringy to me.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity felt more realistically acted and that had scarier concepts and happenings and such, and it was better paced in my opinion.
So
I do acknowledge the Blair Witch for at least making that probably, happen at least. So.
Yeah, and the truth is, here's another thing too. We went through the motions of making our own little short film, and the short film, it's an SCP film, so we did it on a budget that is mostly just me saving up and like getting all the stuff done in post-production as time has gone on. And I would say I have effectively spent, let me do the math in my head, the original shooting, the original like filming and everything over the span of 5 days, on average, that cost almost $20,000.
Damn.
And then after that came the post-production. The post-production, I would say, was an additional $12,000 to $13,000. So I've spent over $30,000 of my life and my money on this, and a lot of it is, and the fact that we are this close, and by this close I mean literally the Sutton brothers are working on the final coloring of the film, where all of it was filmed in S-Log, which is a very washed out color grade, but it makes it easier for you to edit the color in post-production and make everything look that much better. But there's that, and then there's also freaking the VFX shots, which were more than I was expecting, and took a lot more time than because I had to find the right VFX artists to work on it, because I had one guy literally shoehorn me for like 2 weeks. He said, "Oh yeah, I can do this, dude. I can do this." Here's the thing. I paid him the money and everything through Fiverr, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I can do it. Yeah, I got this." 2 weeks go by. I don't hear anything from him. I'm like, "Hey man, everything good?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Don't worry." I'm like, "Okay." But then all of a sudden, a few days later, I get a message from him saying like, "Hey man, I've realized that I'm not actually able to do everything that you've asked, so yeah, I'm sorry about that." And I'm like, "All right, thanks for wasting my time." And then basically I got the money back, and yeah, it was just trying to find the right people to work on it has been very exhausting, but I think I found the right people.
At least they gave your money back.
Well, at least, yeah, but I just hate the fact that he wasted 2 weeks, instead of just like straight up coming out and just saying, "Yeah, I can't do it." I mean, if I'm unable to do something, I'll be honest. I will be 100% honest and just like straightforward about it. Be like, "Yeah, that's not really something I'm capable of."
It was like a situation where he thought he could do it but wasn't sure, and then found out he couldn't.
Exactly. Anyway, let's get on into this before it gets too late. We've already been going for 9 minutes. So, the Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project Kill Count by Dead Meat. Let's check it out, and let's... Daggone sinuses, dude. I hate this shit. I'm trying not to. But my body's not making it easy for me.
I feel you.
Anyway, here we go. Kill Count by Dead Meat. Here we go. Hello, Vega.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at the Blair Witch Project, released in 1999. The Blair Witch is about 3 student filmmakers who get lost in the woods while trying to make a documentary. The story is told through their footage, ostensibly found a year later. But this isn't just a found footage movie, it is the found footage movie. Found footage is one of my favorite subgenres, maybe because I owned a camcorder when I was young. My childhood was spent recording things and watching the crappy footage back, so to me, found footage is a lived experience. It feels feels so realistic, as long as it's done right, which is admittedly more difficult than it seems. But I maintain that some of the scariest movies are found footage films. The style had existed at least since The Legend of Boggy Creek, and more infamously Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, as I meant, yeah. I'm not aware of that other one, The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Hold on, let me look at that real quick. The Legend of Boggy Creek. Legend of Boggy Creek, 1972. 1972 docudrama. Basically they're chasing the folk monster, a.k.a. a Bigfoot-type creature in Folk, Arkansas. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. Damn.
Style had existed at least since The Legend of Boggy Creek, and more infamously Cannibal Holocaust, but the Blair Witch Project wasn't just more popular than those movies. For a while, it was pop culture. Directors Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez filmed the Blair Witch Project over 8 days in October 1997, mostly in Seneca Creek State Park.
I just realized Eduardo Sanchez is the name that they gave to the guy in the Always Sunny episode that supposedly killed the guy that Mac's dad got blamed for killing.
Yeah.
Montgomery County, Maryland. The duo, who met at the University of Central Florida School of Film, wanted to make a horror movie more psychological than slashy, and definitely not like the popular comedy-infused teen-oriented films of the time.
There really wasn't anything that was scaring us. I mean, it's like, okay, there were horror movies, quote unquote, and they were kind of fun to kind of go check out and stuff like that.
It was scaring us that they were being made.
Instead of hiring a traditional crew, they auditioned actors comfortable with improv under duress.
We made it clear to them, you know, I mean, even in the audition process, we put a sheet out there that said, if you don't like camping, if you don't like being out in the woods, if you don't like being scared, don't even try out for this part.
After a few days of training on the 16mm camera and DAT recorder for sound, their cast became the crew. They filmed the movie themselves, with production directing them via GPS markers. Instead of communicating directly, the actors would get supply drops of daily notes and dwindling rations. It was all in an effort to keep them immersed, which is why the filmmakers cast based on character profiles rather than scripting out the characters.
What I'm trying to do is cast personalities rather than actors to portray a particular role, because we knew there was so much improvisation throughout the film.
Yeah, when that
improv is probably why I actually don't really like the acting and writing in it.
I guess
like hearing that, like it kind of makes me respect it to an extent, but I just don't really think like what, especially the male actors did with their improv.
I think my biggest thing would be, for me, the immersion of, you know, dropping them in the middle of the woods with limited supplies and basically just giving them like cliff notes to what to act out that day. And I think that's what they did. They gave them cliff notes, basically being like, okay, you all hear something in the middle of the night and it scares all of you, and, you know, you all get into an argument today basically discussing like what it was or something like that, and blah blah blah. Like, I could see that being it's a very, I'm not going to say avant-garde, but it's a very experimental way of doing the film. And I respect it, but like you're saying, to me, the believability of the actors, it depends on how likable they are.
And it's like, I can believe them to an extent. It's just when I meet people like that in real life, I cringe at just how much they cuss and stuff. You know, it's just,
yeah. And don't get me wrong,
I feel like me and my friends cuss a decent amount, but I feel like the people in the movie just do it so much that it's just like, really, dude.
Yeah, it gets to the point where it's just like, it's like every other word is an F-bomb. It's
I use it to accentuate my points, not to.
I do too.
Not as punctuation for my sentences.
No, and every now and again, I say it just as like an exclamation of just like, oh, like just in the moment, but I don't excessively use it whenever I'm trying to explain something, because to me that's just annoying.
And I mean, I guess I can't say that if I was that scared in the woods, I wouldn't be cursing up a F-bomb.
Oh, I'd probably be very, very frightened.
But yeah, I don't know. Like,
I
felt like it could have been better than it turned out to be.
Yeah. Also, in terms of them casting the roles and everything, casting this is almost like a good way of typecasting, except I don't know. I guess maybe it's just a little different.
It's a really cool idea.
Yes.
Like, it's just in execution, I feel like it came off as like a 7 out of 10 for what it could have been, like, or less, you know, like.
To portray a particular role because we knew there was so much improvisation throughout the film.
The result is one of the most convincing found footage movies ever made. And boy, did it convince a lot of people in 1999.
Don't bite me.
Other films
Don't
had
bite
said
me.
they were based on true stories, but even the grittiest of them still looked like movies. This was something new.
People are still not sufficiently used to seeing home movie footage in a cinema.
Blair Witch went far beyond just a text screen at the beginning of the film. They set up a Web 1.0 site before the movie even screened. On it, the characters were treated like real people and their disappearance like a real mystery.
I really don't think that the film would have done nearly as much money, you know, as much business as it's done if it weren't for the website.
These so-called
internet,
characters have the same names as the actors playing them, leading many to believe they were dead in real life. Heather Donahue's mother even received a sympathy card from a distant relative.
That's so bad.
The Blair Witch Project was a phenomenon. The movie became shorthand for the found footage style, and its imagery was parodied everywhere. All these years later, it still holds up as one of the best of its subgenre, and in my opinion, absolutely terrifying. If a witch kills in the woods and there's no one there to... sorry, I forgot I have an interview scheduled. Ow, fucking sticks.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Janice. So you say you've not...
Also, his little jab there at the... right here with the...
sorry, I forgot I have an interview scheduled. Ow, fucking sticks.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Janice. So you say you've not just heard the legend of man-in-the-middle attacks, but have experienced it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, man-in-the-middle attacks are all too common. It can happen whenever you venture out into the wilds of public Wi-Fi.
That'd be like guest Wi-Fi at stores and restaurants?
Yeah, exactly. See, for example, I was just at a coffee shop, right? Like, I got my coffee cup and everything. I was just minding my own business, doing some writing on my one-man stage musical, The Counter and the Countess, and then I saw this network, James Fan Wi-Fi. Figured, wow, public Wi-Fi for my fans, just for me? So I clicked it.
And that didn't seem suspicious to you?
Well, usually man-in-the-middle attacks use hyper-generic names like coffee-free Wi-Fi. I mean, who's gonna use my name? I mean, they were apparently, but how was I supposed to know? Anyway, so I connect to this Wi-Fi and boom, this man in the middle is taking all the information I enter.
Like your banking info and passwords?
Yeah, which was obviously a huge hassle, but they also got the whole script for The Counter and the Countess. That was gonna be my next big thing.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Listen, kids, if you really want to hunt down these man-in-the-middle attackers, you should make sure you have help from today's sponsor, NordVPN.
Oh, can we just look for a lock icon and HTTPS address in the address bar?
I mean, yeah, that's a good first step, but with Nord you can encrypt your data regardless of whether your connection is secure, making it practically automatic to guard against imposter Wi-Fis. And right now you can get a 2-year plan at a huge discount, plus 4 additional months free when you use the link nordvpn.com/deadmeat. Plus, with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, it's risk-free. nordvpn.com/deadmeat. It's the best deal in the wilds of the internet.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Janice.
No problem. Now I've got to get back to this kill count that I filmed before I got a haircut.
If a witch kills in the woods and there's no one there to film it, does it go on the count? Let's find out and get to them. The movie begins by saying this took place in 1994. Not that we couldn't figure that out for ourselves. These undergrad film students look like backup members of the Gym Blossoms. They've probably already seen Clerks 3 times. The leader of the film crew is Heather Donahue, who's making the first documentary about the legend of the Blair Witch. She's headstrong and self-serious.
I don't want to go cheesy. I want to really avoid any cheese.
And possibly lactose intolerant. Her classmate in cam op is Joshua Leonard, who runs their rented 16mm film camera with black and white stock. Heather shoots extra footage on video with a camcorder. Rounding out the crew is Josh's friend Michael Williams, whom Heather doesn't know that well, but hey, you need a sound guy. Together they head out for a weekend shoot in the real-life town of Burkittsville, Maryland. The history they give it is fictional though, saying it used to be known as the village of Blair. Damn shame it's got haunted woods. You'll never see a better bargain for getting your nuts wet. Heather's kind of a cringy film student, but I repeat myself. About myself. She gives us her best Diane Sawyer in a cemetery.
There are an unusually high number of children laid to rest here.
Yeah, that's very Diane Sawyer.
Most of whom passed in the 1940s.
But I think this presentation properly sets things up to get spooky. Heather Donahue actually wrote her own narration based on production-provided lore. Donahue took the part seriously, all while keeping properly cautious about the conditions in which it was made.
You didn't have to take any precautions in that arena either?
Oh, I bought myself a giant hunting knife.
Oh, my kind of girl.
They interview various locals about the nearby woods and its legends.
We're doing a documentary about the Blair Witch.
The townsfolk are pretty happy to talk about their creepy heritage, except for one little gangster girl who knows snitches get witches. They hear several stories, including one about Rustin Parr. He was an old hermit in the 1940s who lured 7 kids to his remote house in the woods. There, he ritualistically killed them one by one.
He took the kids down in the basement by twos, and he made one face into the corner.
Really?
And then he would kill the other one.
One lady, Mary Brown, claims to have seen the witch on a childhood fishing trip with her dad. She says she saw a woman covered in black hair or fur. It's unclear, just like this shot. Damn, this looks bad. What the fuck, Josh?
Up on the Mary interview. I'm checking my depth of field chart to see how bad.
So you measured for meters? What? We're not in Europe.
Oh, word, new camera. I get it. Blair Witch was shot largely on the digital Hi-8 camcorder, which allowed them to shoot way more than they'd be able to with a then-standard film camera.
Yeah, you see, turn of the new millennium, digital cameras were starting to enter into the cinema, into like cinema and everything. Probably one of the more infamous ones where the quality of the film, you can tell it's shot digitally because of just how hazy and how noisy it is. 28 Days Later. They filmed the entire movie on digital, and it looks very much like a product of digital cameras of the time. And I love that film. I love the movie. It's just, you can tell like how far technology advanced by the time they filmed 28 Weeks Later, which is still a good film, but I still think 28 Days Later is the more well-told story.
The 16mm black and white film footage was recorded with a CP16 camera, courtesy of cinematographer Neil Fredericks. Tragically, Fredericks lost his life at age 35 in a plane crash while capturing aerial footage for the movie Crossbones. Rest in peace. As someone who went to film school, I love this authentic film student experience. The kids worry about film stock and getting focus and exude inexperience, missing shots and sometimes stumbling in their narration.
Blood at the edges of the hemp indicate that this act had been committed while each was alive and able-bodied enough to struggle.
They're so young and naive, it's still a big deal to take a swig of alcohol.
I fucking hate scotch.
They're so young they don't appreciate scotch. The trio's amateur filmmaking helped change the film's low budget from an obstacle into something authentic, which helps when you're trying to scare people.
We just took with what we had to work with, which is a very, kind of a minimal budget, minimal resources, and use those as our strengths.
Day 2 in town sees them talk to the Statler and Waldorf of crick fishing.
I mean, anybody worth their salt around here knows that this area's been haunted by that old woman for years.
That's bullshit.
The two cross-heckle the story of Robin Weaver, a girl in the late 1800s.
So one thing I always wondered is if all the people they were talking to were actually people they found to interview in the town, or if they were also actors on the payroll.
I think maybe they were told about the lore, and they could make the most of it what they could. Guarantee you, the ones we saw were the best ones. They probably had 20, 30 people take part in it. It was just like street interviews and stuff like that, and they only used the best ones.
Followed a floating old lady into the woods. While she eventually returned, a search party sent out to find her didn't. They were found disemboweled with pagan symbols carved into their foreheads. Directors Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez originally wanted to make the Blair Witch Project half found footage, half mockumentary, in the style of shows like In Search of and Unsolved Mysteries.
Blair Witch is a definite, rip-off of the In Search of shows.
Yeah, at least the feeling.
They even began to shoot this framing device, reenacting stories like that of Rustin Parr. The footage was used in Curse of the Blair Witch, a Sci-Fi Channel special that aired a few weeks before the film's release. The reenactments were paired with interviews of the filmmaker's fake friends and family, helping to fuel the rumors that this whole thing was for real.
Basically, it's a pack of lies. Don't believe any of it. But the people of the time did believe in it.
Adding often.
Let's see. Is that the same guy who was was down by the creek fishing?
I don't think so.
I don't think. Yeah, I thought it was, but I was wrong.
Family, helping to fuel the rumors that this whole thing was for real.
Basically, it's a pack of lies. Don't believe any of it. But the people of the time did believe in it.
Adding authenticity are the townsfolk. I love them. This old guy calls them damn fool kids, and this other dude reminds me of a high school friend. And this lady, I mean, you know she broke some bones to get her kid a Tickle Me Elmo. The production team secretly planted most of these so-called locals for the actors to interview. For Mary Brown, they cast the only applicant to their open call internship. Patricia DeCal had the perfect look and even house for the part, so she became an actress as well as the movie's art technician. The kids head to the woods to investigate the sites of the stories they've been
I guess
told.
that answers that question for me.
There you go.
Glad they took a good long look at it as they go. Hope y'all like looking at woods, 'cause that's all we've got ahead of us.
Yeah.
Now. The trio hikes
That's
deep
one of
into
the
woods and
reasons
makes
it's
camp
not the most interesting movie to me. Like,
yeah.
You could call me simple-minded or something for not enjoying it, but I don't know. It just doesn't keep my interest.
Fair enough.
Heather and Josh wait to what they think is a cackling sound, but Mike disproves it with a simple theorem.
If I heard a cackling, I would have shit in my pants.
The next day, on their way to an alleged cemetery, it gradually becomes clear that Heather's gotten them lost.
I knew where we were going.
Wait. Would that be a full of shit statement?
No, I didn't.
Would that be a full of shit statement?
Her blind insistence that she can conquer nature is pretty irritating, and Mike quickly loses patience.
I don't. Lost, admit that first. Because
we're not, I know we're not lost.
Josh tries to keep the peace, which was not always the case. Originally, both boys got testy with Heather right away, but the filmmakers cut back during the edit since it felt like a constant dogpile from the start. I'm glad they cooled Josh down. It gave us a likable middleman. The real Joshua Leonard really wanted to be in the movie and lied about his experience with cameras to get the part. That Mary Brown muck-up was for real, and the subsequent conversation unscripted.
So you measured for meters? What? We're not in Europe.
Well, the fucking lens has meters on it, okay?
Leonard's been steadily acting ever since, returning to horror with the Bates Motel series and Steven Soderbergh's Unsane.
Oh my god! I didn't know that was him in...
Returning to horror...
I didn't know that was him in Bates Motel! Fuck!
I still haven't watched Bates Motel.
It's good. I would say it is about 90 to 95% great. 5% is a little bit loopy, but still passable.
With the Bates Motel series and Steven Soderbergh's Unsane. The trio soon gets a welcome break from bickering with a Ninja Warrior challenge and a, mass grave. At least that's what they determined, that there are 7 piles of rocks here for the 7 kids killed by Rost and Parr. Damn, is the witch doing her own kill counts now? Wonder if she gives out a golden chainsaw. In any case, Josh probably shouldn't have knocked one of these piles over. Yeah, I'm sure it's all fine now, Heather. Just give it a little kiss. They bunker down again and break the tension in the most mid-90s way possible. Talking about sitcom characters fucking.
They had no beer on the island, man. If they had beer, they would have had, like, big-ass orgy.
Guarantee these guys got high and watched Nick at Night.
No shit. Also, that face in the dark right there is kind of creepy. He's just like, I watch you while you sleep.
Not cool of Heather to compare Mike to Gilligan, though. She's pretty condescending to him throughout, even teasing his chest hair patterns. No wonder they spend most of their waking hours getting mad at each other. They try to sleep tight, but the bedbugs start breaking sticks outside the tent.
Sounds to me like a bunch of people running around.
Well, in reality, that's because it was. Directors Myrick and Sanchez and a bunch of their crew all took turns demoralizing the campers by snapping twigs and playing weird noises on a boombox.
And then every once in a while, around the milk crate, you'd hear this little skulking in the woods. And every once in a while, if it was dark, you'd see this red beam, and you knew it was the Haxon band of goons running around again.
The actors later said that it was more annoying than scary. They just want to get some sleep, man. The characters blame the noises on locals messing with them, worrying Mike immensely.
I'm not gonna play with that.
Well, how do we know it was people?
Well, even if it wasn't, I'm not gonna play with that either.
Michael C. Williams has since reunited with Sanchez, Myrick, and Leonard on 4 Corners of Fear, a mockumentary about making a 3rd Blair Witch film. In it, he pokes fun at his original day job of moving furniture.
Mostly I've been making my living moving furniture.
Once Blair Witch opened, he gave his 2 weeks live on Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Eugene and Brian, thanks for the bad back, thanks for the bad knees, thanks for all the fun we had, but it's official, I quit.
Despite the creepy noises, these kids are film students, so their chief concern is still returning the equipment on time. The idea of late fees is enough to break Josh's patience too.
The car. Maybe we're near the car.
Give me the fucking map. Give me the map.
Heather, give me the map. Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off and get us home.
No, really. Maybe turn the camera off. It ain't capturing shit in the dark. You're just
Yeah.
wasting stock. They underexposed more footage later that night when they try to capture a return of the cracking noises. At dawn, they get a witchy wake-up call with 3 fresh murder rock piles set up around their tent. Heather lingers while filming the rocks, while Josh wisely suggests they get the fuck out of there. Only problem with that is, Heather lost the map. Their arguing here has some of the most memorable line deliveries to me.
I gave you back the map, Heather.
I gave you the map.
I gave you back the map.
Another standout exchange happens later on while Josh is straight up berating Heather.
We walked for 15 hours today. We ended up in the same place. There's no one here to help you. That's your motivation. That's your motivation.
The actors had to be in character the entire time, so they came up with a safe word in case things got too real. Taco. The stress of the situation.
Well, you gotta think, out in the middle of the woods, why would there be a reason for you to say taco? So it would be very straightforward and distinct. It's just be like, fucking taco, dude. I need to go take a shit.
Soon has Michael cackling like a witch. Heather assumes the joke is on her, but it's actually at everybody's expense.
I kicked that fucking map into the creek yesterday. It was useless. I kicked that fucker into the creek.
Heather doesn't like that one bit and lets Mike know while blowing out the camcorder sound.
What the fuck are you out of your fucking mind? If we get hurt or if we die out here, it's your fucking fault. It is your fucking fault. Do you understand?
Mike's map punting was only revealed to him the previous night by the directors, who let him decide when to break the news. To keep them isolated from each other as much as they were from anyone else, the actors were given individual directions via personalized notes in their supply drops.
We were only allowed to look at our instructions. We weren't allowed to show them to each other.
The Fellowship officially fucked. They screamed for a while before shutting down completely. Nothing like a good despair break, you know? These broken human beings then
These are also all cool ideas that could have easily been ruined by like a camera malfunction or sound malfunction at some point, you know?
Yeah, which thankfully
It's like,
didn't
oh
happen.
man, we missed the entire kicking the map into the creek thing because the microphone shit out. Like,
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I think that's why it was very imperative for them to make sure that the equipment worked whenever they started filming. You know, and that's... I think that's a great thing, you know. It's like checks and balances on maintaining the equipment before you start. Because, you know, where there's 3 of them there, they can all, like, check each other. It's like, okay, is the camera good? Okay, camera's good. How's the audio? No. Okay, we got good audio. All right, let's roll.
Sticks. The trees here have taken up arts and witchcrafts. The film doesn't name these totems. The characters call them voodoo shit, but the stickman quickly became the logo of the Blair Witch franchise. They're awesome in their simplicity, although why does that big boy look so furry? The stick people were nodded by production designer Ben Rock, who took inspiration from runes. He also needed an easy way to tie 4 sticks together hundreds of times. The directors were initially unimpressed.
That looks like a bunch of sticks tied together.
They came around to the look once it became iconic. The documentarian sure finally...
Of course. Oh, they came around to it as soon as it became iconic. Of course they did. Yeah, everyone's always a hater until it gets popular. And then everyone's just like, you know, I knew it would be a good idea as soon as I saw it. Yeah, right.
The stickmen fascinating and spend a good long while filming them with both cameras. Eventually, the guys drag Heather away from the tree ornaments to make camp, but they decide to skip a fire, hoping to stay hidden in the dark. I mean, yep, I can't see ya. The rustic pranksters from the woods do, though, and continue to get creepier. And meaner, since they attack the tent. The tent shakeup sends everyone running blindly into the woods, where we miss out on something that scares Heather.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Dude, what the fuck is that?
Man, the terror in her voice sells it enough for me. I don't even need to see what she's looking at to be afraid. Which, in actuality, was art director Ricardo Moreno running through the woods with white pantyhose over his head.
Okay.
Oh, that's not what I expected.
It's almost similar to when Green Man made an appearance on our film set that one time. That was hilarious. Just seeing Jake walk out there just in like the full green outfit for the door. Oh my god, I couldn't stop myself from buying the camera. Green Man.
The students spend the night out in the woods. By morning's light, they return to the campsite to find their stuff destroyed. Well, Josh's stuff specifically.
It looks like slime, man. It's not water, man. It is slime. What the fuck is that?
They need a Ghostbuster. Getting bullied by a witch leads Josh to wishing he could jump into the digital world.
Let's see why you like this video camera so much.
You do?
It's not quite reality. You can pretend everything's not quite the way it is.
The boys belt out America the Beautiful, one of many references to living as Americans in the modern age.
It's very hard to get lost in America these days, and it's even harder to stay lost.
Bullshit. America's fucking huge, dude. And there are huge swaths of unpopulated area out there that you could very easily get lost in and never find your way. Dude, there was a kid, a 10-year-old kid, got lost in like a 10-acre cornfield. And everyone searched for him. Everyone was searching, everyone. But then someone had a brilliant idea. It's like, hey, instead of all of us wandering around aimlessly, let's all gather arms together and walk through the row of corn together. And eventually they found the kid, but sadly the kid had died. So, yeah, there are plenty of ways for you to get lost. It doesn't take much. Especially if you're disoriented and you don't know like how to navigate or anything like that without the help of GPS or a map or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a reason the Boy Scouts teach you wilderness survival, because there is wilderness in the United States.
Yeah, like for instance, learning which what the directions are. You like what the cardinal directions are just from seeing the sunrise and the sunset. Because hey, quick quiz out there, everyone. Which side of the sky does the sun rise from?
East.
Exactly. Wherefore, it sets in
west.
So, if you know that you are east of a highway and you need to head due west, you need to walk towards the setting sun. And you are more than likely to find your way out. Like you need to be knowledgeable of these things so that you can survive in case all hell breaks loose.
Lost. The optimism of 90s America is a minor theme, but it's definitely there. It's part of why these kids are so confident and unchallenged that they feel fine wandering off into the woods. The woods are really messing with them, though, since they wind up seeing the same log across the same stream they already forded earlier that day. Turned around and out of sorts, a detente settles that night for the sake of survival and sewing. They talk about food like they were Final 7 in Survivor, and fall asleep trying to remember the lyrics to Lose Yourself.
Mom's mashed potatoes.
Wrong card. In the morning, Josh is gone. Looks like the tribe of witches has spoken. As per usual, the actors didn't know this was going to happen. The directors told Josh to sneak out, picked him up in a car, and drove him straight home. He didn't get to stay at Ponderosa, but the real Josh was happy he could catch a Jane's Addiction concert. As he should be. They put on a hell of a show. Heather does the slime math and realizes Josh was probably singled out for knocking over that pile of rocks. Down one musketeer, the only things Heather and Mike are able to do is walk through the woods and shoot images that would really work as album covers.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Night comes, and without Josh around, the conversation is pretty stilted.
What's your favorite thing to do on a Sunday?
They go to sleep, and instead of strangers making noises in the night, Josh does the honors, with blood-curdling screams and gagging noises that sound painful.
Oh my god!
Heather and Mike call out for their midnight Marco, but with a no-show Polo, they go back to bed. The next morning, they get some tree mail, a bundle of sticks tied together with a scrap of Josh's flannel. At first, they leave it alone, which the actors really did. In one of the very few times the filmmakers had to directly intervene, they told Heather she had to unwrap the obviously cursed present. She does it while Mike is away and finds what's left of Josh. Nothing more than blood, hair, and a couple of teeth, some of them taken from a real dentist. I've always found it hard to tell exactly what I'm looking at in this bark parcel. Barksel? I thought it was a tongue for a long time. Heather decides
Yeah, I was all confused by that as well. I was like, well, there's something bloody in it, obviously.
Yeah, it's obviously a memento of Josh, that was taken from him. Asher, what are you doing over there? Asher, get back over here.
There you go.
Buddy. Asher? Ashy.
There you go.
Lay down, buddy. Stop,
Where'd you go?
stop pestering them kitty cats.
It's like, all right, I'll pester you instead. You can lay down on the pillow. What's a pillow?
I don't think he knows how. And there he goes.
He's like, I am confused by poofiness.
What, buddy? Asher. Get on up there, then. Go on. Hop up. Get up there, buddy. Get on up there. Get on up there, buddy. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. He's going to knock it off there. Like, there ain't enough room on this thing for the two of us. Oh. Big silly boy. Look at him.
He's goofy.
He is a goofer. He's a goofy goober. Sorry. There he goes.
Giving him a safe space to experiment with a vegetarian lifestyle. That night, after he's asleep, she takes the camcorder out to make history with the world's first vlog and the world's first vlogger apology.
I am so sorry.
Yeah. The first vlog and the first, vlogger apology. That's hilarious considering how many apology videos we've seen from, YouTubers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God she doesn't have a fucking ukulele.
For everything that has happened.
Yeah, but do you even need it if you're not playing a ukulele?
Fucking hell. Why? Why? Why do I always do that?
I don't know. It's funny, though.
Infamous shot has been parodied up the nose, but don't let that distract you from the fact that it's a truly great moment in the movie, and also a redemptive one for Heather, since she finally takes blame as the project's director. The real filmmakers were originally going to cast 3 dudes until Heather Donahue aced their improv prompt audition.
You walk in, you sit down, he says, well, you've served 7 years of a 9-year sentence. Why should we let you out on parole?
Her answer, that they shouldn't let her out, impressed them immediately. I hate that Donahue was given a stupid-ass Razzie Award for Worst Actress.
Yeah, I think that's a bit bullshit. Because there were much worse actresses that year. God, that's dumb.
In my opinion, she did better than the 2 dudes in the movie.
Yes, she was the best part of the film. In terms of the acting.
Her performance is perfect, and what makes so much of Blair Witch work so well. I knew people like her in film school, all pushy and performative. I would totally believe them continuing to roll camera even as shit falls apart. Unfortunately, this role ruined the real Heather Donahue's acting career.
I knew after a while that I didn't want to be an actress anymore. I wasn't getting to do things that I was very proud of putting out into the world.
She left the industry in 2008 to grow medical marijuana, burned all her Blair Witch souvenirs in 2011, and changed her name in 2020 to distance herself from the film as much as possible. Later in the night, Heather and Mike hear Josh again shouting for help.
Well, that kind of sucks. Hate that she had to do that.
Well, unfortunately, the Hollywood machine will eat you up and will chew you up and spit you out if it feels like it can't get anything else out of you. And sad to say, I think Heather wanted to continue to be a more artistic filmmaker. But instead, she, a more character actor and all that. But I think she got typecasted as they were wanting to typecast her, and she didn't want to be typecast. And when you don't do what Hollywood wants you to do, then they basically show you the door.
Not sure how he's managing that without teeth, but they track the sounds to a house in the woods. Holy shit, the chills are running down my back just looking at this thing, especially in the black and white 16mm. This place is fucking terrifying. The production team had gone ahead and set dressed this place, the historic Griggs house, but this really was the first time Donahue and Williams had ever seen it. I can't even imagine. Sadly, the building was torn down shortly after the movie was made.
Aww.
That sucks.
but I would give to visit that thing. I mean, what a fucking nightmare, man. They barge in chasing Josh's voice, hoping to find him somewhere in the house.
I hear him. I hear him.
They run past graffitied letters from the occult language Transitus Fluvi, as well as a concerning amount of children's handprints, and not even one of them a turkey. Where the festive kids at? Suddenly, the screams teleport 3 floors down, so Mike takes to the stairs in a game of whack-a-whale. He leaves Heather upstairs while he and the camcorder head into the basement, where he's jumped by something that causes him to drop the recording device to the floor. It keeps rolling and becomes our distant audio source, as Heather follows with the silent 16mm. She gets into the cellar to find Mike standing in the corner Rustin Parr style, then gets dragged away off screen by the Blair Witch. I'm assuming the witch got Mike right afterward, so I'll add both of them to the count. In my opinion, this is one of the scariest endings of all time. The image of Mike in the corner, really just that whole fucking house, still terrifies me more than 2 decades later. But Artisan Entertainment, which bought the movie after it played at Sundance...
I also just think it's one of those things for me, it's like it doesn't hit my personal fear checklist quite the same way it does certain people, you know, like everybody's scared of different stuff, and Blair Witch lit the house and everything. The standing in the corner, I always saw it as kind of memey, you know, it didn't really come off as that terrifying to me.
I get that.
But I mean, there's a lot of people that diss on, you know, The Grudge and say that it's goofy. Like you said, you went and watched it with your dad, so you thought it was goofy.
I thought it was very goofy.
Grudge scared the shit out of me when I first saw it, man. Like, that was terrifying. And I still think Onryo are one of the most terrifying folklore concepts.
I think the original, like, Grudge, Ju-On, I think is a much better film.
I think they're both better than people give them credit for, but it's just because it's something that personally speaks to my inner fears.
I think for me, it's just how they filmed it and how they made the film. To me, the filmmaking is much better in the original Japanese version than it is in the American version.
The effects aren't quite as good in the original version.
No, they're not, but I think the authenticity of, like, the practical effects, to me, enhances it. That's just my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just some of the imagery in the Grudge remake was just, like, burned into my mind for a long time after, you know?
I get you, but either way, I mean, this right here, you know, hearing about, you know, he puts one in the corner and then he kills one of them and then goes back for the other one. I think that right there, they went back and they did multiple sequels to this. They did Book of Shadows, which is basically the Blair Witch, like the Blair Witch 2, which I thought was okay when I first watched it. Now, watching it again, I'm just like, it's not good. It's just not good at all. And then there's the Blair Witch, which is the one they tried to do as more of like a direct sequel to this. And they had Adam Wingard at the helm of that, and I was really excited for it. But there's just things that they do in it that detract from the overall film experience. I'm just like, damn it. If they would have just did this a little bit differently, it would have worked so much better. But either way, yeah. This, though, the ending of this, for the time where it ended so ambiguously like that, like, no, like, you don't know what the hell happened. I think that, like, the fear of the unknown is what sells it for a lot of people. It's just like, what the hell got them? Or who the hell got them?
Forced the filmmakers back into the woods to shoot something more eventful before its wide release. The 4 alternatives included simple interior design changes, and Mike being hanged, crucified, and all turned around. Mirik and Sanchez ultimately won their fight to use
I was gonna say, damn.
Release. The 4 alternatives included simple interior design changes, and Mike being hanged.
That one, I could see potentially working.
Crucified.
That's just hammy.
And all turned around.
That makes no sense. Why?
Mirik and Sanchez ultimately won their fight to use the original ending, although I've got to say, most of the other ones are scary too.
That one's a bit hammy. That's too on the nose, like, crucifixion. Oh god, so edgy. The one where he's hanging, that one I think could work. And the one where he's just turned around makes no sense.
As for the seriously late camera equipment, it eventually stops rolling film and starts rolling credits. How many found footage folks will be found dead for the count? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Josh? Josh, do you need help counting kills or something? Hang on, Josh, I'm coming, buddy. Need this.
Out in the woods of Michigan, James was never heard or seen again.
I just want to apologize to Chelsea and Lucy
and Zoran
and Molly. Not Zoran. But the rest of the Dead Meat team. That I couldn't come up with a better to the numbers bit than this old, stale confessional parody.
Hey, at least you're in 4-3. At least you're in 4-3, which is more authentic to the time.
I am so sorry to everyone who's done one of these before.
Like I did earlier.
Movie, SNL, Mad TV, Robot Chicken, How It Should Have Ended, The Bogus Witch Project, Johnny Bravo.
Oh yeah, the Scooby-Doo Project.
Scooby-Doo.
Yes!
The Hip Hop Witch with Eminem.
Oh my God.
Total Drama Island.
Wow.
That Target 2-day sale commercial.
Jesus.
And of course, the Halloween episode of the Hughleys.
Wow.
My only hope is that this bit finally dies out here with me.
No, it won't, James. Sad to say, it will not.
Being generous, I counted 3 kills in the Blair Witch Project, with the victims consisting of 1 woman and 2 men, giving us a mostly blue witch pie chart. This is not an uncommon counted gender breakdown. We've seen it in 5 other movies on the show before. With a runtime of 81 minutes, we had a kill on average every 27 minutes even. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Mike, who had the scariest time out of all time. Hell, we didn't even actually see him get killed, but he wins this award anyway. That's how scary I find that shot.
Okay, they've actually kind of done this since then better. Can you think of it? It's in a video game. It's a video game you really like.
Brain, why are you no working? Outlast.
No.
No.
Close. Somewhat related in a way, especially because of what is happening when this happens. It's related in some way to both this movie, Outlast, because it's happening on a camera in the game when it happens. Because you're watching a videotape and you're playing the videotape.
Fuck, I can't think of it.
Resident Evil 7.
Fuck! Oh, so stupid!
You remember the videotape from the beginning of the game where they crawl down and he's standing against the wall, but then he pulls him and he's actually been impaled through the eye with a metal pipe?
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, is way fucking scarier than that.
Well, it's because you see something.
Yeah.
Whereas here, basically, I always assumed that when he got downstairs, he got knocked out, and then they slit his throat, and then they stood him up in the corner. Like,
I mean, I guess it's what you make of it with your imagination in that case. So. I'm just like, oh, he's standing in the corner, like, ooh, spooky. Like, yeah, I don't know. My brain just didn't make as much of it, I guess, as some people's did. My imagination
for
didn't.
lamest kill will, I guess, go to Josh. It's pretty disturbing, but I don't like how I never knew exactly what I was looking at. Stupid standard def. That's it.
Fair
the
enough.
Blair Witch Project came out in 1999.
And you don't got many
Only
picks to award them to in this movie.
No.
$5,000 to make. It grossed almost $250 million and remains one of the most profitable films ever made. 2 sequels would follow, but I can't look at them right now. So we'll be back next week with something different. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching the kill count for the Blair Witch Project. Apparently, this movie was indie enough to not be struck, so you get kind of a normal-ish kill count, I guess. You know, Kronos was normal too, it was just in a different language some of the time. Next weekend will not be normal by any means. You'll actually have Zoran hosting the first ever kill count for a graphic novel. You'll be covering Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, the illustrated follow-up to Freddy vs. Jason. We're really interested in how that's going to turn out.
Was a thing.
Some like pan and scan stuff, some voice acting. It should be fun. And there's
some voice acting. Sure hope to God they get Robert Englund for friggin' Freddy. That would be awesome.
I highly doubt that.
I do too, but still, it can't hurt to hope, you know? As for Ash, I know they're not going to be able to get Bruce. Because Bruce is basically, like, retired from playing Ash now, unfortunately.
There's actually a lot of kills in that thing.
And that might actually make him easier to get a hold of. He might have more time on his hands.
Maybe, but he's also said that he's not going to be playing Ash Williams anymore.
You know, we got those to count. If those go well, maybe we'll do the MKX graphic novels. Who knows? I hope everyone's having a good spooky season, and for anyone who's come out to see us at any of the conventions we've done lately, thank you so much. We always love meeting our fans and getting a chance to talk to them face to face. In fact, right now, unless something's gone wrong since I filmed this, we are at Joe Bob's Jamboree in Las Vegas, Nevada. We do hope to do more outside of Southern California next year. It was great meeting everyone in the Boston area last month. Thanks, everyone. Be good people.
Okay. Hold on, let me make sure of something. Hollywood actor strike. Okay. Yep, SAG-AFTRA strike is negotiations and will continue through tomorrow. So, yeah, they're going to see about. It's been going on for 2 months.
Resolve this tomorrow, possibly. Then.
Potentially. I mean, it all started with the Writers Guild strike. Then SAG-AFTRA joined them, and then after that, now. The Writers Guild strike is basically over now. It ended in September. And, yeah, the SAG-AFTRA strike, the Hollywood labor disputes. It's basically, those are the two primary ones, and now it looks like, see, there we are. The official end of the WGA strike on the 27th. Yeah, so SAG-AFTRA hopefully, if negotiations reach a good point on the 9th of October, which is tomorrow, maybe we'll see more kill counts from films in the future. But either way, I guess we'll be moving on from here. This was the Blair Witch Project kill count. I'll be damned. Like this movie, I still think is like easily a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10. You said it's like a 7 in your book?
Nah, it's more like a 5 in my book.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I respect it for starting the found footage because I probably wouldn't have one of my more favorite horror movies, which is the first Paranormal Activity. I don't like where Paranormal Activity went after the first movie, but
well, I like the.
Just at the same time, like I find the Blair Witch to be horribly dull. And just not all that scary to me personally, and it's just a personal taste thing.
I like the first 3.
I like the lore behind Blair Witch a bit better than the Blair Witch Project, the first movie. You know, like there were a couple PC games that were kind of cool, and just like some lore and stuff behind it that were kind of neat to read about. That, in my opinion, is more fun to get into than actually watching through that movie again.
That's fair. Yeah, so for me, I'm just looking at here at the Blair Witch, the third Blair Witch movie. It's once again had a great promise from 2 people who I really like their work, Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't turn out as good as a lot of people hope. Still better than Blair Witch 2, because Blair Witch 2 is considered by many to be like one of the worst films of all time. It is not good at all. Anyway.
And then you got also the newer game that has kind of mixed reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Some people like it and some people didn't. Yeah, those were the ones that I had on PC. I had the first 2 of those PC games back in the day on CD-ROM.
Oh, hey, Bilbo.
It's Rust and Par and something else.
Yeah, Rust and Par.
Legend of Coffin Rock.
Legend of Coffin Rock.
Ellie Kedward tell that.
Yeah. God.
I think I still have those upstairs, actually. Should I go see real quick so I can show them to the camera before we end the video?
I guess, if you want to.
All right, hang on. I'll be right back.
He found them. Specifically, he found parts 1 and part 2. So, yeah. Blair Witch 1, Rust and Par, and Blair Witch 2, The Legend of Coffin Rock. He found them, ladies and gentlemen. Don't eat those.
Worth something at this point.
Maybe. Yep, still in the original casing. That's
a little
really cool.
Scratched, but still got the books too.
Nice, dude. Hold on. Let's see. Blair Witch 1. Rust and Par. Looks like you can probably.
This one's not scratched at all because I never got to it.
Oh.
I never beat the first one, so I never took this one out, really.
So it shows here that pretty good amount. Like 20, like 25 to, yeah, 25 to 30 bucks. How about?
Yeah, they're old like point-and-click games.
How about
They're
Blair
kind of
Witch
neat
2?
graphically. Like, check those out. Like,
Graphically,
they don't look
not
terrible
bad.
for how old they are.
No.
They're pretty spooky looking. I just know the first game as a kid, I could never figure it out. Yeah, they're not really worth that much by the looks of it.
Not really.
Maybe they will be in 20 years, though. Yeah.
Maybe so. We'll see. All right.
Keep holding on to them for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously they both got the stick man on the front of them.
Very creepy. Very, very creepy. But, all right. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this one. This was the kill count, the Blair Witch Project. If y'all enjoyed it and y'all want to see more from Dead Meat, feel free to click their name in the title of the video. And, yeah, till next time, everyone. Signing off, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
And there's Asher. And we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Peace.